Hello everybody. We are about to get started. If you could grab a drink and find a place.
That would be fantastic.
So in case you did not hear me, the drinks are at the very end on the right. If you get one, then please come and have a seat. Make your way to the front, please. If you want.
No, they have to.
There's some space here.
No, at least our first concern of people not coming is gone. That's good. That has lots of
Feedback? Should I get further away from you?
no. Anyway, yes. Yeah, so welcome everyone. It's good to see so many familiar faces from different places and people that we've met online and now in the physical three-dimensional world. That's good to see. It's wonderful to be here with you all. What a great honor for us.
Yes.
So I'm Adam and this is Martin.
Hi everybody.
We're just going to waste your time for a little bit. Hey. Go for it. All right, so yeah, does everyone have a drink? This is the Service Design Drinks. We also have people online. We hope you also have a drink. And if not, then it's too late. You have to wait now about an hour until you get another drink. No, of course not. You can find them at the back, on the back right. And yeah.
It doesn't need to be beer. You can have a cola or afro soda.
Or baby milk, apparently.
There's water, I heard.
Yeah, and coffee. And? And milk, yeah. Lots of milk.
Yeah, so Adam was saying, welcome to the Service Design Drinks. We have not done this in person in 2 years, so it's to be expected.
Yeah, which explains the awkwardness anyway.
But also it explains why we're kind of weird here. But let's get to the basics. What's the point of this meeting? What has been the point of this meeting, even when it was online? We want to be very inclusive. We want to bring everybody together. We want to meet people. This is the best part of the event for us. And we want to make sure that you learn something at the end of the day. We will have a session today, but there's also going to be some time to talk about things. And we started with Do You Have a Drink? We want to have one or more together.
Yeah, we also have a Fidget Vogel as well at 9:30 for after drinks if you're still really, really keen to network before Miro kicks us out. But we also want to say this is an inclusive space, it's a safe space. You can come to us, you can come to also Robert, who's the host from Miro, talk to us. We want to include everyone, make sure everyone that feels welcome here.
And who is behind this event? Me, here. We have Mela, she will be here a little bit later, hopefully.
Yeah, and then myself from Zalander. The two Zalander people are obviously here. Great place to work if you're looking for a job. And Dee, who's sadly sick and decided to, play it safe and stay home, which we hope she's watching on the live stream and also laughing with us. Yeah, so we wanted to, of course, a physical body requires a physical space to meet, so we wanted to introduce a fantastic ex-Zalando, but now Miro, guest to welcome us, and big thank you for Miro for having us, and now I will shut up and give it to Robert. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Adam. Yeah, and first of all, welcome to Miro. Super excited to have everyone here. When Adam pinged me and I was like, hey, we're thinking of doing this thing again in person. Do you want to host us? I was like, yes, this is a great opportunity. So really excited to have everyone here. A couple of quick words from my side because obviously there's way more important topics to talk about. But Miro, and we're relatively new here. I'm sure maybe raise of hands who use Miro today. Was excited to see you. So, perfect. If you're not, you can sign up over there. We set up in this place. Yes, so Miro Berlin, fairly new. We set up the office in late November last year. And I think only when I joined in March here to lead our product design team in Berlin, I think it was probably 10 people in the office. Today it's about 60, so we're getting there. We're starting to build it up here. Here in Berlin, we're running what we call the core team. So we work on the whiteboard experience itself, so all the core piece of the experience that everyone more or less uses. And you can see some more information here. I'm not going to go through that in too much detail. I'm just going to go to the most important part of my section, which is all of you should have picked up one of those Post-its over there. If you have not, I would recommend to walk over there right now and grab one. And you should have a name on your Post-it, or actually Adam is going to run around and fetch you a Post-it. Who doesn't have a Post-it? Raise your hands. Here's one. Adam? All right, so very simple task. Find your soulmate or arch rival. There's actually a mix of the two. I leave it up for you to decide. And once you find your arch rival, have a quick chat with them and ask them why you're here today. So everyone, go ahead, get up, people, shout, scream, find your match.
I'm Cher.
I don't know. There you go, baby.
We're looking for Watson.
It's Superman in the house. I'm looking for Superman. Clark, are you here? No, Clark is somewhere. That's something historical. I think that's looking for royalty. Google it. But it's Princess Victoria. So, I don't know what the country is, but yes. Is Superman in the house? Clark Kent, New York. Right here.
Rick and Morty, Rick? Maybe Rick is still on the table. Julius Caesar and Cleopatra. Julius Caesar and Cleopatra. Or not. Okay. So if you have found your partner, put your hands in the air and give me a big celebration. Put your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care. If you found your partner, very good. I don't believe you, Nora.
It takes some time afterwards, right? So if you haven't found your partner, there will be more time later on to go search and find it.
Alright, so let's grab a seat again. I hope you met someone new that crosses off the networking part of our schedule.
At least from the first part of the event.
You can not talk to anyone else besides this new person that you've met. Introduce them to your family. Introduce them to your partner. Invite them into your home. Cook them a meal.
So that was it. Thanks for coming and see you next time.
Please grab a seat, grab a drink, and return to your places as quickly as possible. Put your seats in the upright position, your window is up in the store tray or something.
Get your drinks and get back here, please.
So, Bill, how did you come here to be here tonight? Do you come here often? Yeah? Okay, yeah. Sounds like a cool guy. Yeah. Thanks. I mean, this marching guy is alright too, right?
Yeah, I heard.
Alright, so making your way back town.
Thanks
back
for
down
coming back.
town.
Thank you for sitting and
Listening.
thank
So I used to be an instructor in the summer camp, so we used to do like the silent emu from Australia, of course.
Totally, I think in Germany they don't do the food. Yeah.
Or you can do the pat on the head and the rubbing the tummy. All right, let's get back into it. So, quick check. Who has been to a? Is this really loud for everyone? Do we need? Yeah,
I think so.
yeah. Okay, I'll use my inside voice. Who has been to a service design drinks event or a service design drinks? Yeah, that's what I said. Online or offline, in person or online. Put your hand up. And who is here for the first time? Great, we'll get your details later.
Amazing. That's really cool.
Yeah, good. So like 50-50, great.
Yeah.
So there's people that have been here before. You can meet some new people as well, and invite them to the community. Yeah, I think this is what we're here for, so we should probably introduce them.
Yes, so I guess this is why everybody came. We have 2 speakers plus 3 speakers. Yep. They are right there, and I will not try to butcher their names. I will just let them do it. But please welcome our speakers.
Yeah. Here we go. Yeah, good, great. Over to you. Let's get out of our way.
Hi. Maybe before we start, because we have some little setup stuff to do. Where should I go? All right. Maybe just to ask beforehand, how many of you are designers? How many of you are service designers? All right.
Okay.
Any other people that are don't identify as designers, service designers? Amazing. All right. And are there any people working in public sector here? Amazing. Cool. So, we are here to talk to you about service design and lessons from the public sector. Once I get this thing started. We are Lisa, Simone, and Nora from PwC, and we work in the public sector, for the public sector as service designers, organizational designers, and we're here to talk to you about going beyond service design and some lessons we learned from the public sector. And before we start, I might hand the microphone over to my colleague Simone, or you already have one to introduce yourself.
So, hello everyone, I'm really happy to be here. I'm really excited as it is a real event. So let's see how this is going, to see real people. I'm a service designer. My background is in media design and creative direction, and I've been working for the public sector for quite some time by now. And still there's a lot of new stuff I learn every day. And I hand over.
Hi everyone, I'm Lisa. I also have a design background, but more product design, industrial design angle. That's why I chose Reims, but I couldn't find my Charles anyway, unfortunately. And I've been with PwC for about 1.5 years, and before that also worked in the public sector in the UK in a local council doing service design from within. And yeah, so now we'd like to give you a short intro about the different layers of service design and take you through a quick activity.
Yes, maybe just to finish it up, I'm Nora. I'm not a designer. My background is public management consulting and law, and I somehow ended up doing organizational design, service design with these inspiring colleagues I have. So yeah, we are quite a bunch of random people trying to improve public sector within the federal structures of Germany. And we want to talk to you about, first of all, 3 things you need to know about designing in the public sector, because there are some special things that we need to consider whenever we start working with new clients or we do our daily projects. Then we brought to you the total design approach that we want to introduce and also discuss together with you. And to finish it up, we want to let you or hear from you and let you dip your toes into organizational design and hear from your experience within the different areas you work in. So we are very keen to hear from you as well. So let's start. 3 things you need to know about the public sector. First of all, whenever you hear bureaucracy, especially in Germany, you might feel the same anxious feelings that I also sometimes get whenever I have to deal with the public sector in the private space. Yesterday I went to get my new ID and it took me 2 months to get an appointment and it was horrible, but I finally got it and then it only took 5 minutes. And the thing is, I'm quite happy that there is bureaucracy because in the end, it is a good thing. That's what we believe, because without it, if there was zero bureaucracy, it would have been maybe very challenging. For example, to get a new passport, it would be maybe up to the goodwill of the people within the administration. So if there was no set of rules, it could be that the administrators, whenever they have a good day or a bad day, whenever you maybe pass some money on or something, you get a passport or you don't get a passport. So that, even though it's really complicated at times, we still, in the end of the day, believe that services are delivered fair and equal. At least that's the basis that lies behind it. So in the end, bureaucracy is a good thing, but the execution sometimes lacks. Then we have a point, fail fast, fail often. That is not an option, usually, within the public sector, because people in the administration deal with taxpayers' money. They spend taxpayers' money, our money. We just heard that until today, all of us worked for the state. So until now, all the salaries we got or earned by now have been transferred to the public sector, to the administrations as tax money. So the state should deal with it responsibly and spend it on good things. And also, we have here a headline. There are sometimes people's life at risk when the administration gets involved. So there is a huge responsibility within the administration that they have to deal with. So just trying out new things is not always an option. Then we have the Onlinezugangsgesetz. Who here has heard about the Onlinezugangsgesetz? Okay, I'm surprised. There are quite a few. So the Onlinezugangsgesetz has the goal to bring services online for the citizens. To be precise, 575 services have to be online by the end of this year. Yeah. Well, I hate to break it to you, that won't happen. Germany is obviously lagging behind within the digitalized fields of transforming the public sector. So this law was introduced, but in reality, at the moment, within the federal system and the administrations it looks like this. Umlaufmappe is still daily business. So that's not a joke. That's still a sad reality, but there are some changes on the way. Simone, maybe you want to tell us about that.
Great. So I continue with the boring part now. So Onlinezugangsgesetz is not going very well, as Nora said. There are a couple of reasons for that. Maybe first of all, the law is not super cool because it focuses on the interface. So it focuses on bringing services online. What the data happens afterwards is not really considered. So it's an apparently digital experience for us, for the citizens, but not for the people who are delivering the service. Then you might have heard that Germany is a federal country, and there are some laws putting that into place. So it's not possible that there's one organization designing one service that works for everyone. It's really complicated to get that going. Then the way it is set up right now is it's considered as an interface exercise. So there are so many things that are not part of the consideration. So when you think about delivering services, it means that people delivering these services in the future will deliver digital services. So it's not a thing that you can finish by the end of this year. Right? From then on, we deliver services online. So this means public administrators, they need to have a new job description. And all these things might, from hindsight, it's easy to say, could have done better. And so let's have a look at the next slide. So maybe there's something that we have in our pocket that might help next time. So we call this a total design approach. And I'll talk you through it in a minute. This is based on Uwe Arox, maybe some of you know, an architect, on his principles. And the idea is that you have to look at design from a holistic angle. So depending on where your design expertise is, normally your job is to focus on visual design, on how things look. But if you think a little bit about it, you understand quite quickly that there's a next level underneath, which is how things feel. And this is normally the job of experienced designers. And if you're service designers, normally you have a look at how things work. So what are the processes? And this is kind of the design where most of us might feel somehow familiar. But there's more to it. There's organizational design. And this means how are the things delivered? So what does the organization look like? How is it governed? What kind of people work there? What skills do they have? What governance model do they have? What incentives do they have? How does that work? And then a next level, this might blow your mind. There is policy design. So what things are actually done? So in each organization, there are rules set. What are we actually doing? And when it comes to the public sector, these rules are actual laws. So when we deliver services, all of these services can be traced back to a law. And there are lawmakers putting these laws in place. And normally these lawmakers, they have a background in law, obviously. They don't come, surprise, they don't come with a human-centered mindset necessarily. So the question is, what would happen if we started to pair these lawyers with a more design mindset? What would happen if there were policy designers? And we believe that things would be a bit different and probably better. And so I hand over to Lisa, and she has an example for you.
To bring this a little bit into the real world and into a real project we've been working on, we brought an example, Bund ID. Quick question, who's heard of Bund ID? Cool. That's, oh, yeah. Do you have accounts with Bund ID? Okay. And who has an account with Service Portal Berlin or like your local city to use online services? Okay. That's not surprising. Part of the reason why we're involved is to make applications like this just more attractive, more user-friendly, and therefore increase the uptake. I think in February there was around 100,000 people with Bund ID accounts, so there's a lot of room for improvement. Just to quickly explain what Bund ID is, it basically groups different options for online identification. So you can access digital services, securely identify yourself, and then also in your revolutionary digital postbox, get digital letters instead of physical letters. And this is designed on a federal level at the moment, but each state or even each city has also been developing their own portals. So it's embedded in this complicated environment as well. And we've been involved mainly in these top 3 layers, but obviously we've had many encounters and situations where we've seen very clearly that working here is also necessary to provide a really good experience with Bund ID. So to take you through the layers with some examples, the top 2 maybe are quite obvious. So we ask questions like, how do we convey a sense of security by the colors and the visuals that we're using? Content design was also very important and a little bit overlooked within the design team. So we brought that in as well. So how do you create a consistent content strategy across online and offline elements? And of course, also how do you convey trust through the user experience by being very transparent about the steps you're about to go through when you're moving from one portal to another one, and things like this, so there's no surprises in the process. Right. When we look a layer deeper into the service design aspect, we actually realized through user research and user testing that a lot of the very important moments for Bund ID happen outside of Bund ID. Because as we see, there's lacking awareness that the product actually exists, and we aren't really using the moments where people engage in this topic of digital identity. For example, when they pick up their new Personalausweis, to actually onboard them a little bit and help them to register with Bund ID, which would make their life a lot easier when they actually want to use the service and don't have to create an account from scratch and then go through the whole form, etc. Then we go into the organizational design. So how things are delivered, specifically for public services. Obviously, inclusivity, accessibility is a big thing, has to work for everyone. But more often than not, for example, the accessibility experts or the team sit very far away from the day-to-day development. And they're brought in for like these reviews and tests a bit late on in the process. So one aspect of organizational design is obviously how you set up your product teams to develop services like this. But also for Bund ID, a big kind of an important stakeholder group are the authorities who actually have to technically integrate this thing into their online services, because it's only like a building block of a complete user journey. And this requires them to have like the right people employed internally to change their systems and technical criteria to be able to integrate this smoothly and quickly and still provides the user experience that we're trying to design from up here down on city and communal level. And then the base of it all, the policy design, here regulations and laws from all directions are flying in and making the user journey more complicated. So we have a lot of regulations about online identities on an EU level, where they're really pushing that you can also maybe use your ID card from Spain to access online services in Germany and to make this really interoperable. And for example, now they're also putting a lot of effort and resources into creating an option for DIA, which is the Ukrainian digital identity. So they're really also reacting to these kind of life and death or critical issues that we face with a product that you might not see on a surface level that we have to consider in the public sector. And it's been quite exciting to explore this policy design level through UntID, because we get to work with these lawyers and very structured people with very different mindsets often to actually find a good compromise between what's legally sound and acceptable and what's actually like okay to let users go through and won't sort of turn them off completely. So it's quite exciting to kind of see how this really has an impact downstream all the way to the visual aspects of the design. Right. Next slide. And because I'm a real design nerd, I wanted to bring you a little bit of historical context about where this total design idea comes from, because sometimes it feels a little bit more abstract to be working in service design, organizational design, and sometimes you wonder, am I still a designer? So it's nice to link things back. But basically it originated from this principle of the Gesamtkunstwerk, or total art, which was kind of defined mainly in the 19th century in the context of operas, where people like Wagner were striving to create these really opulent shows where the design, the costumes, the set, the music was all thought as one great experience. And since then, as you might know, some of the most successful spaces and places have employed this like total design approach. So for example, like some of the great Art Nouveau or Bauhaus buildings have sort of considered everything from the architecture to the door handles and like the patterns on the textiles. And this is interesting for us because it's not just about one person having a vision, a consistent vision of a product or an outcome, but also the fact that you're bringing together different silos and different disciplines to work in a consistent way. And that's what we feel sometimes is missing when we're working in public sector projects, where we often still have this silo working, and you can really feel that in the end result sometimes. Okay, and now we have some time for the discussion.
So I'm pretty sure, so I saw lots of people nodding. So I'm pretty sure that the challenges we have are familiar to you. So we wonder what obstacles in implementation have you experienced that could be removed by designing the next level. And so to make it a little bit easier for you, I'll show you mine first. So I once worked for FutureGov, a design and tech company in the UK, and we designed this super cool product called Casserole Club. It's a service designer stream. It's a meal sharing service to prevent loneliness. And the idea behind is that you cook an extra portion and you get matched with someone in your neighborhood who is alone, and you deliver this extra portion of food. Brilliant service, right? That's what we thought. The thing is that, well, didn't go as well as expected. And one of the challenges was that, so a really key part in the service is community management. And local councils bought this product, and they were responsible for community management. And we did all the service design really brilliantly, But we stopped there. Like as an afterthought, we thought, hold on, the organization, the local governments, all of a sudden, they are community managers. And they are the most unsocial people in the world. They hide behind their desks, and they are not the right people to go out and find these diners who might be socially isolated. So this is where the service collapsed, basically. And as an afterthought, we delivered some training, and we tried to, think about the skills they need, but still, it was an afterthought. And I think we could have prevented that if we had thought about the organization delivering that service earlier. So I told you one of my biggest fails. I want to hear from you. So what obstacles have you encountered when it comes to implementing? And do you think that the different levels of design could have helped you? Yes, someone brave. Hold on, I'll jump.
I'm Miro. I work for Co-Service Design. We were not fully responsible for a governmental project, but it was about, they basically designed a law which had a great vision of basically making the whole permit application process in the Netherlands more easier. And then they got us, the service designers, to sort of make a vision or like understand what are the current problems with permits application in the Netherlands, and how would be a vision of making it better. So we got all the municipalities and all the different political layers together. We made something great, and then we gave the plans to the people that were actually responsible for implementing it, and they were like, "Yeah, we don't know how to do this." And basically, this has been one of the biggest fails in the Dutch government, this whole implementation process behind this law, which was a sort of idea from one politician or one political party, sort of completely went to shits. And it's costing now like 100 million euros because they had the ambition to make it easier, so they just pushed it through. But yeah, like all these small municipalities, they were not fit for it. They like, yeah, we can digitize, but they were also still working with paper and computers and so just the sense of reality was just not there, I would say. So it started maybe with policy design, but then there was a huge gap at the end.
Thank you so much for being brave and sharing. Anyone else? Yeah. Maybe over here. Woman first.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wish I would have had this thing like 5 years ago, because I kind of made the switch from service design to organizational design. I was working for a big automotive company and built a service design team there. And I think the problem in implementing a lot of the services was the organizational design. But I think it's also a question of mandate. Like in a lot of cases that you work on, it's not just that you don't think about it, but that you don't have the mandate to actually change the organizational design.
Very true. Thank you for sharing. And then I think you had your hand up.
Two obstacles, I guess. One is that perceptions of what service design or like IT projects have maybe delivered in like public sector before. So like I've been in a lot of situations where there's been like a big management consultancy company there before, we look through the work, there's like, this never delivered anything other than like a PowerPoint presentation, so the expectations of what the next people coming in are like already like, it's never going to work. So there's like a negative perception you have to overcome going in. The other aspects is like, there is a lot of efficiencies and cost savings that are like obvious consequences and even motives for doing digital services in public sector. And that often means then people not having a job, or their job that they were doing doesn't exist anymore. So like being able to manage that, like in the teams that like were doing this service like manually before, how to manage that relationship and understand like what they'll be doing next, or what happens, how do they transition, I guess, is like an obstacle.
Thank you so much. Do we have an example from not public sector? Yes, cool.
Yes, I worked for an NGO, and it was all a bit sort of half volunteer, half paid, half like, yeah, I'll do something good. I got involved quite quickly, and it was a big mission to make it really easy to support local grassroots projects rather than having to donate to bigger companies because you never know where the money actually goes. So the vision was great, and for a year and a half, we had programmers on board before we even had a product that we were designing. So it's like, why are you programming something when we don't know what we're doing? So after a year and a half of working on it and really having the MVP laid out, tested, at some point I had a break of 6 weeks, and then I came back and we were like, yeah, well, we're changing everything because we figured out if we make it into a different product, it's much easier to get funding for the individual parts, and we can actually move forward because otherwise we don't have any money. So after a year and a half of involving different programmers, setting up all the different parts, we're like, well, we can't actually continue the way we can because we don't have the money, so we have to change our strategy. It's like, if we would have stepped back at one point and actually figured out who are we ourselves as an organization, how are we set up as an organization, I think we would have not wasted a year and a half of a lot of people's work to actually move forward. And I could have been involved afterwards, but I was like, this is too chaotic for me. I'm really sorry. It's something I can't fix at the moment. And then, unfortunately, I dived out of the project and I have no clue where it is right now.
Thanks for sharing, Maria. That's quite interesting that you yourself as an organization, what do you need to bring in order to be able to design this? Good point. All right. So but from now on, I think we will continue. Yes. Okay. So we're getting into org design. So we talked enough now. We need a break. So we hand over to you. And we want you to roll up your sleeves. And so there are 3 things you need to do now. The first one is form a team and introduce yourselves. So we suggest a team maybe of 3, 4, 5 people would be good. Then second task you have. Talk a little bit about the service design or design projects you're doing, and find a project that you can use as an example. And then use this example to reflect on its impact on organizational design. So for now, we'll just have a look at the organizational design layer. If you want, you can dive a little bit deeper into policy design, but in fact, it's a little bit complicated. So let's focus on organizational design. And Nora, can you show the organizational design canvas? Perfect. So this is it, you all get copies from it. So the first question is, what service are you designing? Then think about the capabilities, how it is governed, the technology, the process, and the culture. And you look a little bit puzzled, don't worry, we're here, we'll help you. There's Julia as well, she will jump around, we'll jump around, and we'll help you, we'll guide you through. And I think you have 30 minutes. Adam, is that right?
Yeah.
Yes, perfect. 30 minutes, and then we'll come back and we can share. And we're really interested to hear how you found this exercise, if you feel that this thing is working, or how you would iterate it. Okay? All right.
This is not a chance to run away. This is a really cool activity. But if you do need a drink, you can put your hand up and we will service you. So we would rather you work, look at the template, put your hand up if you need a drink, and we will come service you. But first, we've got some markers and pens.
one quick second, guys, just in case you're wondering, we also put in an example. If you reckon you don't come up with a good example, we put in one example for you to read, but maybe, or I'm sure you will find your own way, but just in case, the Kita Finder as an example is just there if you struggle to find a good example.
Good. Genau machen. Genau, aber gerade
If there is anyone who needs help or like just put your hands up if you need any assistance from us, then we will come to
Are we defining like what you have to do?
Okay, everyone, the time is up. Maybe raise your hands if you can hear me and I've stopped, so we're all checking back in. Awesome, thank you. It's really cool that you were so productive for like an after work event because we didn't really expect people to actually maybe like do as much, so that's really awesome that you engaged with the tool. We wanted to do like a quick, just 1, 2, 3 impressions of what you thought about the canvas, and then just because of timing, maybe 1 or 2 questions, and then the rest we'll happily answer, like come and chat to us or during the networking in small rounds. So does anyone want to share kind of a learning or a feedback for this tool, for this activity? Okay.
I think overall it was quite interesting to have like this breakdown. I think we ran into a little bit of trouble with the culture and process and so on, with when it asks like what culture is needed or what internal processes are needed to figure out if it's like our internal processes or like the government or the kind of the Kita's internal processes or something, you know. So I think that was we had a little bit of discussion about that, but otherwise it was interesting to have like thinking about some like, the individual aspects.
Cool. Thank you.
There was one
Yeah, so for us it was actually quite easy to follow as well. Culture for us was okay. We managed that. I think we had a very introverted vision of our service. We had more difficulty with governance, and it kind of brought a completely different output from the outside, and we were thinking about our own product and less about the outside of it. So for us, that was a little bit more complicated to film.
Maybe what?
Any other feedback?
Anything we could do better with this? What would you improve? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
That's maybe a brief dive, right? Yeah, I think like all the questions are on the like make us think about the individual elements. It's just hard to connect to them. Like if they were in a sequence of how you go through them would help, because then you make the like have a story line to follow, right? Like you go, oh, first you think about that, and then how that breaks down to the second part, and then otherwise you don't know where to start. Like generally.
It's true, and actually they were put on like quite a bit of randomness. Yes.
Oh wow, great practice. Thank you.
I think there were two here.
Shall I? If I was using the support, I mean, I don't know if I'd use it to come up with a service. I would use it if I already had a service in mind. So starting at a table with a blank canvas was a tricky thing, and we just went back to starting with user needs or pain points, and that took us a long time and was very fun. So we talked about what our pain points in Berlin. But yeah, I'd love to come at it with 70% complaining.
How far?
Yeah, I believe that when you get a brief from the European, for example, it's just easier from all the stakeholders, because here it's just more for ideation as well, for like a teamwork. Then it would be probably much faster.
Just out of interest, how many groups picked Anmeldung?
We were close to Kita, but then we were like, nah, that's not the best, and then we saw it.
So it's more of a checklist, I would say, than to really make you think about the governance. Like for instance, with the governance, I was thinking, okay, what kind of governance is there? What types of governance are there? But it's good to understand like what you mean with governance.
I think it would be cool if maybe we gather them all like on the table, and then like afterwards during networking we can maybe have a look. So we have a little exhibition, and I think now 1, 2 questions, and then we'll break. Just like general questions to the topic or about our work.
I have a question regarding, I think it was pretty clear in this Kita example. So what would be the benefit for the Kita? Like they will always have people waiting for the program to get into them. And I think it's the same case for public service. There will always be people wanting to use. And how does this do you spark on motivation? Does this motivation always come from like a higher power or like a law that determines that things need to be better for the citizen, or can it come voluntarily?
I think the question would be, for the Kita, it would be a pain point, because they like their freedom of choice of picking the kids, of picking the parents, of picking the best cake that is brought to them to get the kid in. And the question is it fair for other people who don't have the resources, who don't have the knowledge, who don't have the time to sit around and bake cakes, no offense, like that, Is it fair for society, for the kids that don't have parents who have the resources to do that and find their ways and write a billion emails and get onto lists? Wouldn't it be for the whole society better to just have one touch point, one way of entering it and have a fair chance to get a place? I think that would be the question. And so the users, it's like depending on who we see here as the users. And here we would have the kids and the families in mind who don't have the resources to get through the individual process. Do you have anything to add? No.
I think we might have to call it there.
Yeah.
All right, so that is just one thing for you to take away.
Yes. One thing for you to take away is going beyond your level of design will make it better, even if you don't have the mandate for it. I think we already had this in the discussion. So I think that's for us like a big learning to just always push a bit further, especially in the public sector, but also maybe in your fields of expertise, to just always take the next step and push one step further. Thank you so much for. Yeah, thank you guys so much for being here tonight, and thank you to Miro for hosting this amazing event and for the nice place we get to be tonight, and to the service design drinks team as well for organizing like so professionally. Thank you so much. And now let's have more drinks and Simone.
And one more thing, so in case you're looking for a job,
What was this in the
get the hang of it, right? So, all right. Enjoy the drinks. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah. Big round of applause for us. Oh, my head is heavy with information. So going high and low, we're going to wrap up really quickly and let you grab another drink. We ran out of alpha shoulder. I'm sorry, everybody, but there is more beer. So of course, we do this for the community, to build the community, and kind of something that we've been doing for 8 years now. So we took over the service design drinks, and we got one in-person event, and the rest was remote. So now we're finally back. Anyway, but the reason that we're doing it is obviously to build the service design and design community. So we would like to offer the mic to anyone that wants to promote an event or something that is community related. Any takers? You have a captive audience. Oh, you want more time with the mic? All right, come on.
So I noticed there are a couple of people from the public sector. So with a different initiative, there is Preis für gute Verwaltung, and it just has launched. It's the 4th year. Sorry. And it will be awarded on the 14th of October, and you can submit entries. So for everyone working in the public sector, please feel free to submit your solutions.
Sorry.
What was the name of it? The Preis für gute
Preis für gute Verwaltung.
Preis für gute Verwaltung. Okay, yes, now. Okay, cool. If you would like to join us on, I don't know, we have a Slack or wherever else, but we'll obviously run more events. You can follow us on the Instagram and give us some feedback if you want to share and put forward your name to talk, or if you would like to host, that's also really appreciated. Of course, we wouldn't be able to do this event without Miro. You can say hi down there, and if you haven't signed up and using Miro, what's wrong with you? But you can also sign up there.
If you want to revisit this talk or see any of the previous talks, you can also look for us on YouTube. It's not here, but you can look for us on YouTube. We have all the recordings from all the previous talks as well.
Yeah. If you want to complain or give us any critical feedback, you can do that downstairs.
But yes,
plus we're all ears. We love.
I think we need to do this.
Yeah. Woohoo! Yay! yeah, so thank you for joining us. After 2 years, it's great to see everyone, some old friends and some new friends, and that's really, God, gets you in the heart.
Great and scary at the same time.
Yeah, if you would like to join us, we're happy to hang out here for another 15, 25 minutes, let's say 30 minutes. If you're really pushing, you can drink all the drinks, eat all the snacks. Drink as much coffee because that comes from WeWork. But if you would like to hang around later, you can also join us at Fitch's Virgo at 9:30, or you can follow me to have a drink in a bar.
Yes, thank you everybody for coming, for taking the time, and for just being here. And let's
mingle. And this is Mela. Thank you, everyone.
Welcome to Zalando University. That is a good question that you should ask QT.